We begin by telling you that President Bola Tinubu is set to depart Abuja today for Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, to attend the Africa Heads of State Energy Summit. The summit, scheduled for January 27 to 28, 2025, aims to advance Mission 300 on initiative to provide electricity access to 300 million people in Africa by 2030. African leaders, private stakeholders, and development partners will converge to address the continent's energy challenges. Now, discussions will focus on accelerating energy access, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and mobilizing private sector investment. President Tinubu will deliver a national statement reaffirming Nigeria's commitment to universal energy access and its leadership role in Africa's energy sector. He will be accompanied by top government officials, including the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and the Minister of Power. President Bola Tinubu has welcomed the intervention of the Finnish government with the arrest and detention of the self-proclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Simon Ekpa. Now, Tinubu said the government will not tolerate actions and statements that could lead to divisiveness among citizens. The president spoke when he received the letters of credence from the Finnish ambassador to Nigeria, Sanna Selin, at the State House. He commended the Finnish authorities for the timely intervention that safeguarded the nation's integrity and mitigated an action that threatened peaceful coexistence. Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has urged FCT Minister Nyesom Wike to resign from the PDP over alleged anti-party activities and align officially with the APC. Mohammed accused Wike of serving APC's interests and attempting to tarnish his reputation. He labeled Wike a transactional politician whose loyalty shifts for personal ambition. In response, Wike's media aide, Lere Olayinka, dismissed the claims, accusing Mohammed of lacking leadership as PDP Governors Forum chairman. Mohammed, through his media advisor, described Wike's attacks as reckless and divisive, alleging a history of betrayal within the PDP. The Bauchi State Governor called for unity within the party, urging genuine members to work towards defeating the APC in 2027. And let's also tell you that the embattled lawmaker, Mudashiru Obasa, says he remains the Speaker of the the Lagos State House of Assembly until the right thing is done. Members of the Assembly on January 13 impeached Obasa over alleged gross misconduct and abuse of office. His removal also comes a week after he was accused of spending 17 billion naira on a gate to the Assembly complex. Obasa, who was away during the impeachment saga, was welcomed home by his loyalists at his Joel Oguneke GRA residence in Ikeja on Saturday. The former speaker also debunks the allegations of corruption brought against him by the lawmakers during his removal, describing the alleged financial misappropriations as impossible.
But to remove, you must follow the due process, as I have said. We have rules, we have constitution. When you want to remove, you must do what? Follow me. At the same time, that man that said Obasa took part in the removal of Honorable Abducted Pelumi, Honorable Fumi Tejosho, and those people that were suspended. And I've said it, let me repeat it. Honorable Pelumi, right? Honorable Pelumi is my brother, is my friend. I fondly call him Wada Wahidi till tomorrow. When he was removed, he was on the floor of the house. Probably he was presiding. When Tejosho was removed, she was in the house. And those who were suspended, they were around. And there was no involvement of police. And the house, the chamber was not broken into. And fake mace was not brought to the house. I'm not afraid of being removed.
In the same vein, the Lagos State House of Assembly has fired back as former Speaker Mudashiru Obasa, who insists that he still is in charge. The Assembly says over 2/3 of its members support new Speaker Mojisola Meranda, and nothing can change the decision made on January 13 when Obasa was impeached. Now, according to Ogundipe Olukayode, the Assembly spokesperson, the lawmakers are united in their commitment to good governance and harmony with other government branches. He called Obasa's claims uncalled for and unparliamentary. Now, the Assembly maintains that Obasa was duly elected as Speaker, but later removed by the majority decision. They're urging him to accept the transition peacefully. Away from that, stakeholders from the Justice Forum of Alimosho Federal Constituency of Lagos State gathered to demonstrate their political strength and readiness for the upcoming local government and 2027 general elections. Under the leadership of former Deputy Governor Adejoke Orelope Adefulire, the event highlighted the party's grassroots mobilization efforts and commitment to unity. Speaking during the event, Chief Organizer and State Officer of the Justice Forum, Honorable Akim Bashiru, and other leaders say the gathering was to showcase the strength of a leading APC group in Alimosho.
This event for us is a constituency meeting to showcase our strength as a leading APC group in Alimosho. It is also an opportunity for us to mobilize people and assure our Progressive Congress and by extension Mr. President that Alimosho is ready to take the leadership in terms of galvanizing votes for subsequent electoral victories as far as Alimosho is concerned.
When we are talking about caucus, caucus is a means to drive more members into the party. The party is supreme, but as we are celebrating our day today and having our meeting, we are pulling more members, new members into the party.
Because we are a popular party, well run and well provided for by our leader in Alimosho, the leader of the federal constituency, Princess Adejoke Orelope Adefulure. She's a million in a woman, and amazing. And her leadership has gotten the Alimosho to where it is today.
Now let's move to security, where bandits have reportedly abducted 22 locals in fresh attacks in the Kugauta community in Kusheka and Kitanda community of Geshere, both in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State. It was gathered that the assailants invaded the two communities in separate attacks on Friday at about 10:30 p.m., kidnapping 22 locals, mostly women and children. 12 locals were kidnapped in the Kitanda community of Geshere, while 10 locals were also whisked away in the Kugauta community in Kusheka. Still on security matters, hard-to-reach communities affected by terrorism in Sokoto and Zamfara states have expressed worry over the restrictions placed on the use of firearms to combat terrorists and bandits as first responders whenever they are attacked. They say this has left them as sitting ducks without any protection from the terrorists, leaving their loved ones in harm's way in this special report. News Central's correspondent Emmanuel Bagudu visited some of the communities and tells us more.
Accessing terrorist-affected communities in either Sokoto, Zamfara or Kaduna State, even by security agencies, is a Herculean task. News Central's crew had a feel of this reality as it sought to get answers from those affected by the insurgencies firsthand. The visit took us to Sabon and Isa in Sokoto East, Silame, Wamako and Tangaza local government area in Sokoto North, and Maradan, Maru and Zurmi local government areas of Zamfara State. One citizen who has been affected by the insurgency is Umaru Dogo, who has lost his entire family to a mistargeted airstrike at Gidansama village in Sokoto State, expressed his displeasure at the military for labeling him a member of the Lakurawa terrorist group.
I am just a farmer. I am suffering looking for what to eat when this Air Force jet bombed this place. My entire family lost their lives. My neighbors then came to help me pick the bodies to bury. Then ground troops came to open fire on us, injuring 3 people. After that, they invited me to come and explain myself. I did, and they threatened to throw me inside the fire from the bomb.
We also sought to get reactions from the Nigerian military over the unfortunate event, which left many dead as Air Force fighter jets sought to neutralize Lakurawa bandits.
Even when we clear an area, we have to pull out to other areas. So the state infrastructure needs the institution. They need to improve. They need to be on ground. The local government chairman need to stay there. You cannot be local government chairman of Tangaza and then you'll be operating from Sokoto. No.
The issue of road deficit is addressed, and once that is done, I'm sure it's going to help in improving the security situation within the Northwest region.
The visit also took us to Gongono in Tangaza local government area of Sokoto State. Stakeholders here at the community expressed their views on the war against terrorism.
So when they come, they say they want to save our people. You know, a local man, when you say you will save him because of these terrorists, they will accept you. But later, they understand that they are all the same because they will put their animals inside your farm. So they are all the same to you. That is why they accepted them before. But later, they ran away from them.
There are a lot of sympathizers and also informants. Before we go out of any operation, these sympathizers and informants usually call and inform the terrorists about our patrols and whereabouts. And also the locals usually allow the terrorists to come and marry some of their women in the place, whereby they have a relationship, since this village and Niger are close.
Even neighboring Zamfara State has had its own share of terrorist activities. While the government is implementing a homegrown solution, its local vigilante groups believe that with more support from the military, much can be achieved.
Everyone here, both young and old, has a gun. Once these bandits invade us, everyone swings into action. And if it is your time to die, you know you have tried your best. Is that not how it should be?
The state government is, however, in the forefront of those pushing for citizens to be armed as part of efforts to combat terrorist groups. While the northwest region of the country continues to suffer the effects of terrorism, many here say there is much expectation from government to help end the menace. In Gusau, Zamfara State, for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
Well, thank you, Emmanuel, for that report. Now, to put this into perspective, we were earlier joined by former chairman, Zamfara Committee on Prosecution of Bandits, Abdullahi Shinkaifi. But before that, let's put into context what was said in the report by the Deputy Governor of Zamfara State.
Duk wanda a ɗan Zamfara mazaunin Zamfara, duk wanda a ƙasar Zamfara ya shirya duk kayan da kai rikawa na yaki ya rika ma kai ne. Ko mi gare ka rika shi ka yi umarni da shi an ka zo cuta ma ka kare kanka. Kana da bindiga 50 ba sa Hausa ba 'yan uwanka guda ku kare kanku ga azzalumai.
Now, moving on to discuss this, we are joined by a lawyer and political analyst, Abdullatif Abubakar Jos. Hello, Abdullatif. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
you very much. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Now, can you speak to us on the legal and ethical implications, that may arise from what the Zamfara State Deputy Governor has actually said, and that's for citizens to take up arms and against bandits?
Sorry, point of correction. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a journalist. I'm practicing in Kano. I'm based in Kano, and I'm very conversant with the situation, security challenges. I'm not a lawyer, as I said earlier. I'm a political analyst and a journalist.
Please go ahead with the implications, yeah.
Yes, I'm very conversant with the situation in the Northwest, because this is not the first time that we are having that the leaders will be asking people to take up arms and protect themselves. In Katsina State, the immediate past governor of Katsina, Alhaji Aminu Bello Masari, excuse me, has once said so during his tenure at the same time, that the residents should take up arms and protect themselves. The same thing with the present Katsina State Governor, Umar Dikorada, said the same thing. But you see, all this situation, they are not helping the situation, because you can't tell people to take up arms like that, because the law does not protect you if you're found with arms illegally. You can't say you're protecting yourself illegally with that arms. It is the failure of these leaders that they're trying to pass the ball to the people and telling them to take up arms and protect themselves. Believe you me, in the recent time, the security agents, the military, the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, they've been trying in the past few weeks in terms of bringing out, smoking out the terrorists. Even recently, as we speak right now, the most wanted terrorist among them around that end, especially in Zamfara area, which is Bello Truji, is on the run as we speak right now, because about a few days ago, his second in command was killed. His younger brother was killed, and his son at the same time was killed. So when you look at the situation, the military is trying on its own, but for the governor to be for the deputy governor to be saying that the residents should take up arms, it's a failure on their part, because even if you look at the antecedent of fighting terrorism in Zamfara State, you can imagine that the immediate past governor and the present governor, they've been accusing each other of sponsoring terrorism, of sponsoring banditry. So it has been politicized, sort of, not facing the real situation squarely, so that at least the bandits can be exterminated. But asking the people to take up arms is just illogical, because how can they take up arms illegally? If you're found
so are you saying that even if they were to take up arms, that it should be legal? Are you okay with that as well?
It should be legal. It should be legal. For instance, if the government is providing the security, the local vigilante, if the local vigilante are provided with the weapons that are accepted legally by law, it's understandable. But you can't ask the resident, because like what the deputy governor was saying in Hausa here, saying that even if you have up to about 50 guns in your house, you can distribute it to your family, one after the other, to take up arms. You can't do that. The law will not take it that you are using it to protect yourself, because it is not legally owned. So these are the things, these are the narrative that we need. Okay, for instance, most of these states, like Katsina, Zamfara, they all have vigilante set up by the state government. They can arm this vigilante group with required and acceptable arms under the law, which is quite understandable. But you can't ask people to just, go out of their way to now search for weapons, especially gun, just like you were saying. Because if you look at like I was explaining during at the beginning of this discussion, it is the failure of Zamfara state government in attending to the banditry and insecurity in the state. Let me give a typical example. In 2024...
Okay, Abdulatif, before your example, you also did say that the army is actually doing a lot to, protect the citizens of those states riddled with banditry. But as it is, it's actually been going on for years, and we know that these residents are growing really, really tired and impatient. So what else can the government do to address the lack of security in these communities without necessarily encouraging vigilantism terrorism or even further escalating violence?
You say it is the collaboration of the state that is even needed in addressing these issues.
Not the government.
Because, yes, when we talk about the collaboration of the state government, you see, the northwestern state has 7 states. That is talking about Kaduna, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Zamfara, Sokoto, and Kebbi state. We're talking about 7 states like this. If the state government decide to sit together, it once happened during El Rufai's tenure that they wanted to do it, but I didn't know what happened again, that they couldn't continue it. They had a discussion, and the fight was total, whereby bandits cannot run away when they're under tension, under fire from Zamfara state. They can't run away to Katsina. They can't run away to Sokoto state because they will be attacked from all angles. So that it will be a situation whereby it will be a concerted effort from all the state governments collaborating with the military. But in a situation whereby they've turned it to be political gimmick, political gimmick between the Zamfara state government, the present governor of Zamfara state, and the immediate past governor that is even now the Minister of State for Defense. Because all in all, they've turned it to be political. All these attacks, there are so many of the attacks that are even unreported as we speak. But luckily, of recent as I speak with you, the military is having a serious inroad into exterminating these terrorists. Because on a daily basis now, if you check, you ask your reporter to check the defense headquarters table, from time to time you can see, and we are even seeing it from people that are within the environment, collaborating what the military are saying, that most of all these terrorists, they are being neutralized. So it is the support of the state government that is needed, and that of the people in the area also, because you see, the military cannot operate in isolation. There's supposed to be support from the community in terms of information, because if the community supports the police, the security agent, they have confidence in them, it will be easy, relatively, to end this banditry and terrorism.
Okay. Well said, Abdulatif. Thank you so much for speaking with us on the news on this.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, that will take a break, and when we come back, we'll tell you how federal government begins measures to stop reoccurrence of tanker explosions. Thank you for staying with us. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit against President Bola Tinubu's administration and the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, over the recent 50% increase in telecom tariffs. The NCC's approval of the tariff hike raised the cost of 1 minute call from 11 naira to 16 naira 5 kobo, 1 gigabyte of data from 287 naira 5 kobo to 431 naira 25 kobo, and SMS charges from 4 naira to 6 naira. SERAP argues that the hike infringes on citizens' rights to freedom of expression and access to information as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution and international treaties. The organization is seeking a court declaration that the tariff hike is unconstitutional and an injunction to halt its implementation. The lawsuit also alleges that the NCC failed to consult key stakeholders, including the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, before implementing the hike. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has honored one of its personnel, Aminu Salisu, an assistant superintendent who was allegedly killed by a suspected internet fraudster on January 17, 2025. The chairman of the EFCC made this known during a ceremony to honor deserving staff of the commission as he renamed the EFCC's training academy after Salisu. He says that the commission will remain undeterred in its fight against financial crimes and warned staff of the EFCC to refrain from actions that will tarnish the image and reputation of the agency.
We're not going to give up in spite of the loss of one of our gallant officers. It's a morale booster and a source of encouragement to us that we are not going to relent in our fight against financial crimes in Nigeria. So I want to encourage you, and I want to let you know that for every officer who has lost his life in the line of duty, for every officer who has been fatally injured in the line of duty, we are not going to forget them. Before I leave this podium, I'd like to announce, in honor of our gallant officer who has passed on, I'm going to direct that the administrative building of this academy should be named after Aminu Sahabi Salisu.
The Nigerian Senate has accused the federal government of double standards in addressing illegal activities, tackling oil bunkering aggressively while being lenient on illegal mining. Senator Adams Oshomole, chair of the Senate Committee on Interior, raised the concern during a budget presentation by Senator Samson Ekong, chair of the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals Development. Oshomole warned that the economic diversification would remain elusive without decisive action against illegal mining, blaming influential figures, including retired generals, for complicity. Ekong emphasized that the need to increase the ministry's capital budget to 539 billion naira for 2025, calling the initial 9 billion naira allocation grossly inadequate.
Any part of Nigeria where you don't have solid minerals, even in the south. But what I observe, whereas the federal government is ruthless with people who are doing illegal oil bucking, and they deploy JTF to deal with those involved in illegal bucking. When it comes to illegal mining of solid mineral, the federal government changes. It's like using different standards. And I'm very angry about that. Because if we have to fight, deploy army, even to kill for anyone who is involved in illegal bucking of oil, and you deploy JTF, a combination of army, police, air force, everybody, why are we allowing illegal mining in many parts of the country that is going on? And they are being manned by retired generals, and we know them. Yes, we know them. Nobody can predict doesn't know them.
But one of the agencies that quit, if 220 billion is injected into that agency, it can in 10 trillion of this country in 2 years. These are clear harvest. Let me also say that we can use minerals to act as a unifying instrument in this country. When we know that the oil in Bayelsa or Akwa Ibom is bringing in so much for Nigeria, and that from the gold mines in Zamfara, Niger State, Zamfara State, Kaduna, a lot of endowment are being meaningfully harvested for Nigeria. Apart from football, what area, what instrument that can unite Nigeria is not better. I can say this. We know the strength of football as a unifying factor in Nigeria. We can explore the potential that gold medals accrue to this country to further unite Nigeria.
Away from that, Nigeria's federal government has commenced efforts to end the reoccurrence of the unfortunate incidences of petrol tanker explosions, which usually leaves behind a trail of death, injuries, and destruction. This was as the nation's National Orientation Agency visited the Lambata community in Niger State to educate citizens on the dangers associated with scooping petrol from accident tankers. Amadin Uyi reports.
The recent tanker explosion in Diko, Niger State, which left many dead as they scooped petrol from a falling tanker, can best be described as a national tragedy. following a presidential directive to educate citizens on the dangers of such acts and bring to an end the recurring incident. Nigeria's National Orientation Agency has visited Lambata community in the state in a bid to avert the same kind of tragedy and protect the public.
When a tanker has fallen, we can protect the products. We can cordon off the area immediately. So we must put a system in place where we can get information when such things happen immediately, so that we actually do not allow people to go near this issue.
Others in the community expressed their views on the incident.
We should try and warn our children, warn all the people in Nigeria, not even in local government, to stop this type of attitude. Go in when there is any fault, the truck fell down, not even the fuel on, any type of truck. So person shouldn't go there for removing something on that vehicle.
My advice is when there are incidents like this, people should not always look at what they stand to gain, but to first of all look at the unfortunate incident that has taken place, the person who has lost money or something. That should be the concern of the community.
There is no thing like total ignorance, because ordinarily you should know as a woman that the danger that comes with going near a fire, not even an explosion.
Quick money, quick trouble. Shi ne yasa kuma ƴan uwanmu da suka gabace mu suka halaka. A wurin nan akwai wani da ya samu so daya. Duk kwanin da muka gani muna ganin na gwamnati ne banza, bari a ci shi. Wallahi an kai hakuri abinda baka zato ba za ka same shi. Amma kai hanzari shi ne yake kawo wannan.
The NOA says that its campaign to prevent tanker explosions, which usually leads to the death of citizens, has commenced across the 774 local government areas of the country. In Niger State for News Central, I am Amadine Uyi.
Now, following News Central's report on the closure of the Ibadan Elume Primary Healthcare Center in Sapele local government area of Delta State, the facility has resumed operations. The health center was shut for over 4 months after burglars allegedly stole health workers' phones and other equipments. News Central's Austin Azu visited the primary healthcare center and brings us this report.
Before now, the entrance to the outpatients hall was closed by the medical officers here at Ibadan Elume community. But right now, the door is wide open to accommodate patients that will be coming to seek medical attention.
Since when I see anywhere they run, they come. Everywhere closed. No nurse, no doctor. Just they manage the place, but now it all day okay. Much I will feel them because I register for here. So when they come out, they will not coffee, they come here.
Others expressed gratitude for the return of the health workers to their post.
I think the government have done the needful. We are grateful to the government, especially the governor, Governor Sheriff of Boriwori, for taking the right steps that was needed to be taken.
Even the matron is trying, he attended to the patient appropriately. I see she has good manner compared to before.
These individuals commend News Central TV for amplifying their voices when health workers went on strike and for facilitating their prompt return following a news report on the health center's closure a few weeks ago.
Thank you, News Central, for your intervention and what you did to actually make these people come back for us. We're happy and we're grateful to you. Thank you very much.
News Central, I have to thank you people for the job that you have done. At least before, this place was abandoned, but as at now, the place is going well.
The development is a fallout of your very detailed and elaborate reportage about what transpired there some months back. I think I saw that report. It actually moved the government.
While the immediate issue leading to the shutdown of the health center may not have been fully addressed, community leadership has been urged to provide the necessary assistance to enable health workers to perform their duties effectively.
So it is expected that the community cooperate and also support them in whatever way they can, so that we can have the services unhindered, the services of these workers unhindered.
According to some of the health workers, they are calling on the state governments to provide them with security to guarantee their stay here at this health center. In Ibadan, Element for News Central, I'm Austin Azu.
In 2020, just a few weeks after the COVID-19 pandemic, the world shut down. But what was learned about resilience and thriving in the face of challenges helped many to navigate those tough times, both as individuals and as corporate bodies. Motivational and entrepreneurial experts agree that in today's ever-evolving world, resilience is no longer a luxury, but a necessity.
Experts in entrepreneurial and motivational fields agree that in today's dynamic and ever-evolving world, resilience is the key to bringing out the best in performance. They said it is a very important tool for effective human capacity development.
The truth is, everything about life starts with you. So whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life, being aware of the things that exist in your environment, the things that are what might be challenges or things that might be stumbling blocks to you attaining what you've set for yourself, knowing that it's not the end of the world.
To achieve this, they said it's important to unveil, review, redefine, and relaunch get-togethers with practical workshops, thought-provoking keynotes, interactive talks, and personalized coaching sessions saved the day.
Resilience to me is like a springboard that sort of catapults one, or personally, I as an entrepreneur, into like greater heights and, higher levels of scale.
Communications coach Stephanie Kaduri says over the years, there has been remarkable productivity gains in companies that have invested in the critical role of resilience in achieving personal and professional success. She says the key is empowering career professionals, entrepreneurs, and everyone who desires to start strong and navigate the year with purpose and direction.
Purpose was to help people face life progressively. Because of I was concerned that many times we get stuck in the middle of adversity and disruptions that come our way, and having once been there myself where I almost ended it because I thought that there was nothing after that adversity, I realized that life comes with ups and downs and comes with curveballs, and regardless of how frequently that comes, we have to be able to rise above it and move.
Moving with optimism, resilience and engagement. And I think it's so relevant, especially in light of what is happening, not just in Nigeria, but all over the world.
To maintain optimism, visualize and engage, experts urge the bringing together of dynamic communities of leaders, professionals and entrepreneurs to explore the critical role of resilience in achieving personal and professional success.
Sudan's army chief visits headquarters after recapture from paramilitaries. This and more coming shortly after this break. Stay with us. Away from Nigeria, Sudan's Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan on Sunday visited the General Command headquarters in Khartoum, which had been recaptured after a nearly 2-year siege by paramilitary forces. Burhan declared the Army's forces in their best condition after reclaiming this critical location, marking a significant victory in the capital. The recapture of the General Command comes after months of intense conflict, during which the Army had to rely on airdrops to supply its forces trapped inside the building. In a statement, the Army announced the merger of troops from Khartoum, North, and Omdurman, further strengthening their position. Tensions are escalating in the Democratic Republic of Congo as Rwanda-backed M23 rebels advance towards Goma, a key city in the eastern region. Now, General Sylvain Ekenge, spokesman for the DRC army, warns that Rwanda is determined to seize control of Goma, which is home to over 1 million people. The city is a crucial hub in the mineral-rich east, and the M23's push to capture it has raised concerns about the humanitarian situation. The conflict has already displaced thousands of people, with many more caught in the crossfire. The DRC army is working to defend Goma, but the situation remains volatile. The international community is calling for calm and a peaceful resolution to the conflict.
Le Rwanda est déterminé à s'emparer de la ville de Goma, mais non vaillant FRDC, non vaillant Ouazalendo, les patriotes, appuyés par Sami DRC la MONUSCO, eux aussi sont déterminés à défendre bec et ongle la ville de Goma, à repousser l'ennemi, et ce qui est fait, et pourquoi pas à les bouter hors du territoire national. D'ailleurs,
in other news from around the world, the U.S. under President Donald Trump has paused funding for the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, that's PEPFAR, raising concern for global HIV/AIDS efforts. Since 2003, PEPFAR has contributed over $85 billion to combat the disease, saving millions of lives in more than 50 countries, including Nigeria, which received over $6 billion. However, recent funding cuts have sparked fear about Nigeria's ability to sustain its progress. A source at the Institute of Human Virology in Nigeria pointed out that the Nigerian government has not fully taken over HIV and malaria programs, leading to reduced American assistance. This funding freeze, which affects both new and ongoing initiatives, threatened to the health of over 1 million Nigerians who rely on PEPFAR for life-saving treatment. Experts warn the situation could worsen without renewed support. U.S. President Donald Trump wrapped up a tumultuous week with a victory rally in Las Vegas, where he doubled down on promises to reshape American politics and culture. Now, Trump's speech was a feel-good campaign-style event where he thanked voters, that's Nevada voters, for his win in the 2024 elections. The president also pledged to make tips tax-free, a popular move in the hospitality industry. This rally came after Trump's visit to disaster sites in North Carolina and California, where he criticized the Federal Emergency Management Agency and threatened to shut it down. Trump's first week in office has been marked by numerous executive orders and proclamations, including the pardoning of hundreds involved in the January 2021 Capitol assault.
And it's great to be back. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. So if you're a restaurant worker, a server, a valet, a bellhop, a bartender, or one of my caddies, I go through caddies like candy. If I play badly, I always blame my caddy. Or any other worker who relies on tipped income, your tips will be 100% yours. Since I became the 47th president at noon on Monday, I've been moving with urgency and historic speed to fix every single calamity of the Biden administration that they've created. And this week alone, I took nearly 350 executive actions to reverse.
And that's all at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of our top stories. We told you that President Bola Tinubu to present national energy strategy at Africa Energy Summit. We also told you that Serap sues federal government, NCC, over 50% increase in telecom tariff. Finally, you heard that Angolan president has called for ceasefire as tensions escalate in DR Congo. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Darshan Usman.